Hi, I'm Julio.
And I'm the AI that will make this story even more unpredictable.
Here's how it works. I write the first 4 chapters full of mystery, clues, and twists.
And then I step in to write the final chapter.
But here's the challenge. Can you guess the ending the AI will create before it's revealed?
I doubt you can. My endings always have a hidden surprise.
So, join us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the idea and share in the comments how you think this story should end. Will your theory beat the AI's twist?
The brakes of my Bronco crunch on gravel as I pull alongside the abandoned pickup. Highway 93 stretches empty in both directions, shimmering under the relentless sun. I squint through my windshield. Nobody for miles. I kill the engine and desert silence rushes in, broken only by the staticky murmur from the truck's radio. The driver's door hangs open like a broken wing. Whoever left was in a hurry. My sneakers hit the scorching asphalt, and sweat instantly beads on my forehead. The truck's shadow offers minimal relief as I approach. 6 years chasing stories for the Tribune has taught me to recognize when something's wrong. This feels wrong. Hello? My voice dies quickly in the dry air. No answer. The radio spits fragments of a weather report through bursts of static. A half-empty water bottle bakes on the dashboard. Recent. I scan the surroundings. Nothing but cacti and distant mountains painted copper by the setting sun. Inside the truck, a video camera sits mounted on the passenger seat, its red recording light blinking steadily. It's pointed straight ahead, at nothing, just empty highway and desert scrub. I press my lips together. Who sets up a camera to record emptiness? Tire tracks lead from the truck into the sand. They stop abruptly about 50 feet out, as if the vehicle they belonged to simply vanished. My heart thumps harder against my ribs. I circle back to the pickup's bed and spot a suitcase lying open, clothes hastily shoved aside. Nestled among them are stacks of VHS tapes, each labeled with a date. I pick one up, 03/17/92. Another, 04/2/92. My fingers tremble slightly as I flip through them. That's when I see it. A black cassette with white label tape bearing 2 words in bold marker. Sarah W. My stomach drops. I nearly drop the tape too. My name, my goddamn name on a tape in an abandoned truck in the middle of nowhere. The desert suddenly feels vast and watching. I clutch the tape, looking wildly around.
Nothing moves except heat waves rising from the pavement. I slide the cassette into my pocket and grab 2 others with dates, evidence. Back in my Bronco, I fumble with my keys, hands shaking. The radio in the abandoned truck abruptly stops its static hiss. Clear as day, a voice comes through. Subject has retrieved the package, proceeding to phase 2. Headlights appear on the highway behind me, approaching fast. I jam the key into the ignition. The Bronco roars to life as the approaching headlights grow larger in my rearview mirror. My tires kick up dust clouds as I accelerate onto Highway 93, heading south toward Wickenburg. The headlights follow. Not highway patrol. Wrong height, wrong spacing. A black SUV with tinted windows. Professional, deliberate. My fingers dig into the steering wheel as I push the Bronco faster, the engine protesting. The VHS tapes slide across my passenger seat. My name stares up at me from that white label, Sarah W. The SUV matches my speed, not trying to catch me, just following. My mind races faster than my vehicle. Who knows I'm out here? Only my editor, Marcus. He'd assigned me to check out reports of unusual nighttime activity in the desert. Lights, unmarked vehicles. Probably nothing, he'd said. But you're good with nothing. You find the something in it. I hadn't told anyone else, not even my contact at the sheriff's department. The SUV suddenly accelerates, closing the gap. I swerve onto a maintenance road, a move I instantly regret as the Bronco bounces violently over ruts and rocks. The SUV doesn't follow. Instead, it speeds past on the highway, continuing south. I slow down, breathing hard. Not pursuing me after all? I pull over, dust settling around my vehicle. The cassette with my name feels heavy in my pocket. My cell phone shows no signal, of course not. I grab my camera from my bag and photograph the 3 tapes I took, then examine them in the fading light. The dates span the last 6 months. My tape has no date. I don't have equipment to watch them here. I need to get back to Wickenburg, but the thought of returning to the highway makes my skin crawl. Just as I'm about to pull out, headlights appear again, this time from a battered pickup approaching on the maintenance road. Nowhere to hide. I reach for the pepper spray in my glove compartment. The pickup stops 20 feet away. A man steps out, mid-60s, weathered face, desert-worn clothes. Ray Nichols, a local rancher I interviewed last year about water rights disputes. "Ms. Whitaker," he calls, keeping his distance. "Thought that might be you. Not many drive these old Broncos anymore." "Ray," I say, not lowering my guard, "what are you doing out here?" "Could ask you the same." He glances nervously at the horizon. "Not safe out here after dark, especially not lately." "What do you mean?" "Been strange happenings." His voice drops. "Government types, unmarked vehicles. Started about 6 months back. The same time frame as the earliest tape date." "You're not the first reporter coming around," Ray continues. "There was another fella, couple weeks back, asking questions, taking pictures out by Miller's Ridge. What happened to him?" My throat tightens. "Don't know. Never saw him leave." Ray shifts uneasily. "My buddy at the gas station said the man's rental car is still in the impound lot. Nobody's claimed it. I think of the abandoned truck." "Ray, did you see anything today? A white pickup, abandoned off Highway 93. His face changes. "You should get in your car and drive straight back to Phoenix. Forget whatever you found." "How did you know I found something?" He doesn't answer, just gets back in his truck. "Ray, wait. There's a reason I'm selling my land after 40 years, Ms. Whitaker. Some questions get answered in ways you don't want." He starts his engine. "Check the local obituaries from March. 8 unexplained deaths in 3 counties, all ruled natural causes. All had camera equipment seized from their homes afterward." He drives away, leaving me alone with the desert darkness creeping in. Back on the highway, I drive cautiously toward Wickenburg, scanning for the black SUV. At the town's edge sits the Cactus Motel, its neon sign flickering weakly. I check in under my backup ID, Jane Martinez, freelance photographer, a precaution I've used before when working sensitive stories. In room 114, I barricade the door with a chair and pull the blinds tight. The tapes sit on the bed like bombs waiting to detonate. I boot up my laptop and connect to the painfully slow dial-up through the phone line. I search the Arizona Rupi archives for obituaries from March. Ray wasn't exaggerating. 8 deaths across Yavapai, Maricopa, and Mojave counties. All listed as natural causes, all between ages 30 to 45. No obvious connections. Except, I scan the text again. Each obituary mentions photography or videography somewhere. Avid amateur photographer, freelance cameraman, local news videographer. I feel cold despite the room's stuffy heat. A knock at my door freezes me in place. "Housekeeping," a woman's voice calls. "Don't need any," I answer. Silence. Then, "I have a message for you, Miss Whitaker." My blood turns to ice. I registered as Martinez. "Who are you?" I demand, not moving toward the door. "Someone who knows what's on that tape with your name on it." A pause. "And why 6 people died to keep it hidden." 6 people, not 8. "What about the other 2?" I ask. "They're not dead yet." Another pause. "But they will be by morning. Unless you bring those tapes to the west parking lot of the Wickenburg Community Hospital. Midnight. Come alone." Footsteps retreat. By the time I dare to open the door, the hallway is empty. Back in the room, I sit on the bed, my reporter's notebook open. I diagram what I know, connecting threads that don't quite meet.
The abandoned truck, the tapes, Ray's warning, the 8 or 6 deaths. My phone rings, startling me. It's Marcus. "Sarah? Where are you?" His voice sounds strange, strained. "Working the story, found something big. I don't mention the tape with my name. Drop it. Story's killed. Come back to Phoenix." "What? Why?" "Editorial decision." His words are clipped, professional, not like Marcus at all. "Since when does the Tribune back away from a story with 8 suspicious deaths linked to it?" Silence. Then, "How do you know about those?" I didn't tell him about Ray or the obituaries. "Who's with you, Marcus?" I ask quietly. The line goes dead. I pull the cassette labeled Sarah W. from my pocket and stare at it. Someone wanted me to find this. Someone who knew I'd be on that stretch of highway today. Someone who knew my name. The only way to know what this is about is to see what's on these tapes. And there's only one place in Wickenburg where I might find a VCR at this hour. The Tribune's satellite office, 2 blocks away, where I keep a spare key. As I gather my things, I notice the message light blinking on the motel phone. I press play. "We're watching you, Sarah," a digitally altered voice says. "Always have been." I slip out the motel's back exit, tapes tucked into my jacket. The night air hangs heavy with the lingering heat of day. Stars blanket the sky in a way they never do in Phoenix, making me feel simultaneously exposed and invisible. The Tribune's satellite office occupies the 2nd floor of a weathered brick building above a Western Union. Not exactly state-of-the-art, but it has what I need: a secure space with a VCR. My key slides into the lock. The door opens with a familiar creak. I freeze, listening for movement inside. Nothing. I switch on a desk lamp, keeping the main lights off. Dust particles dance in the narrow beam. The office looks untouched since I was here last week. Scattered papers, ancient coffee cups, the perpetual disorder of small-town journalism. The TV and VCR sit in the corner where we review footage. I pull the blinds tight before inserting the earliest dated tape, March 17. Static gives way to shaky handheld footage of the same stretch of desert where I found the truck today. Night vision mode gives everything an eerie green glow. A timestamp in the corner, 2:17 a.m. For 30 seconds, nothing happens. Then a flash of light in the distance. The camera zooms shakily, focusing on what looks like vehicles with their headlights off, moving in formation across the desert floor. The footage cuts to a different angle, closer now. 3 unmarked vans parked in a triangle. Men in unmarked tactical gear unloading equipment, something large and covered in tarps. A voice whispers behind the camera. 3rd night this week, same location, same time. I don't recognize the voice. The footage jumps again. The cameraman is moving, approaching the site. Too close. A flashlight beam sweeps in his direction. The camera drops, showing only sand and partial images of running feet, shouting voices. Then blackness. I remove the tape with trembling hands and insert the 2nd one. April 2. Different location, daytime. An office I don't recognize. The camera is hidden, recording through what appears to be a vent or small opening. 2 men in suits talk in low voices. "The timing is critical," says the first man, older, gray-haired. "The satellite window is narrow." "What about the witnesses?" asks the second. "Being handled. The journalist is more concerning." "Which one?" "Arizona Tribune, the Whitaker woman." My heart pounds against my ribs. This footage is from 6 months ago. They knew about me before I knew about them. "She's been asking questions about the land acquisitions," says Gray Hair. "Someone leaked the environmental report." The environmental report? 6 months ago, I was investigating complaints about well water contamination near Wickenburg. The official report found nothing concerning, but anonymous samples I had tested showed elevated radiation levels. The story died when witnesses stopped returning my calls. I was pulled off that story to cover a Senate campaign. I never connected it to anything larger. The video cuts abruptly. End of tape. I sit back, mind racing. This isn't about strange lights in the desert. This is about what's under it. And someone wanted me to find this, to connect these dots. A noise downstairs startles me. Footsteps. The Western Union closed at 6. I quickly eject the tape and reach for the third, the one with my name. Before I can insert it, my cell phone vibrates. Unknown number. "Hello?" I whisper. "Don't play the third tape." A woman's voice, the same from the motel. "Who are you?" "Someone who made a mistake getting you involved." Her voice is tight with urgency. "The tapes are bait, Sarah. They knew you'd come for them. They're tracking you through them." The footsteps downstairs are getting louder. "There's a transmitter embedded in the cassette with your name," she continues. "Leave it. Get out. Now." "Why should I trust you?" "Because I worked with David." "David? My brother? Air Force intelligence. Died in a training accident 3 years ago that never made sense to our family. The official report was so heavily redacted it was practically blank." "What do you know about David?" My voice catches. "He found what they're hiding in the desert, and he pointed me to you before they killed him." The stairwell door downstairs opens. Footsteps start climbing. "Back window," the woman says. "Fire escape. Go to Miller's Ridge before midnight. Not the hospital. It's a trap." "And Sarah? That wasn't a meteor shower people reported last March. That was something coming down." The line goes dead. I shove the tapes into my bag, including the one with my name. If it's tracking me, maybe I can use that. The window opens with a protesting squeal. The rusty fire escape trembles under my weight as I descend. A car waits in the alley below. Black SUV, engine running. I freeze halfway down.
The driver's window rolls down. A man I've never seen before looks up at me. "Miss Whitaker, please come down. We need to talk about your brother." My mind flashes to the footage I just watched. The men in tactical gear. The same type David would have worked with. "Who are you?" I call down. "National Security. We're not the enemy here." "Then who is?" "The woman who just called you." He holds up a device tracking the signal. "She's not who she claims to be. She worked for Hexacorp before it was shut down for weapons violations." Hexacorp? The defense contractor I investigated last year after whistleblowers alleged they were conducting unauthorized tests on military personnel. Another story that disappeared under mysterious circumstances. The fire escape shudders as someone else starts climbing from below. "Your brother was helping us, Sarah," the man calls up, "until she compromised him." My head spins. David, the contaminated wells, the desert operations, Hexacorp, all supposedly separate stories I've worked over the years, all connected by an invisible thread I never saw. A memory surfaces. David, during his last visit home, distracted and tense. "Sometimes the story isn't the story, Sarah Bear," he'd said, using my childhood nickname. "Sometimes the story is who's preventing the story." The fire escape creaks as I'm caught between the person climbing up and the SUV waiting below. The third tape feels like it's burning through my bag. A noise from above. The office window opening wider. Another figure emerging. I'm trapped between 3 points. No way to know who's lying, who's telling the truth, who wants me alive, who wants me dead. Only one thing is certain. My brother knew something worth dying for. And somehow, it's all hidden in the desert, beneath the stars, under the sand where tire tracks abruptly end. The figure climbing up the fire escape calls out, "Agent Collins, I have visual on the target." Agent, government, or someone pretending to be. In that moment, I make my choice. I hurl the tape with my name at the SUV like a missile, watching as the man scrambles to catch it. Then I swing over the railing of the fire escape, hanging by my fingertips 1 floor up from the ground. I drop into darkness, my ankle twisting as I hit the pavement. Pain shoots up my leg, but adrenaline pushes it aside. I limp run down the alley away from the SUV, away from the agents clutching the remaining tapes. Behind me, voices shout. Ahead, the desert waits with its secrets. My brother's words echo in my mind. Sometimes the story isn't the story. And I'm beginning to understand that this story is much, much bigger than strange lights in the night sky. My Bronco sputters to life on the third try. Every shadow in Wickenburg feels like a threat as I navigate back streets, avoiding main roads. My ankle throbs. The remaining tapes sit heavy in my bag. Miller's Ridge looms 15 miles northwest, a dark mass against the starlit sky. I take side roads, headlights off when possible, guided only by moonlight. The woman who called knew about David, but so did the man in the SUV. Someone's lying. Maybe everyone. Halfway to the ridge, I pull into an abandoned gas station, kill the engine, and sit in darkness. I need to think clearly. My hands shake as I flip through my reporter's notebook, connecting events I'd thought were separate. The well contamination investigation from last winter, the 8 photographers dead from natural causes, the land seizures near Wickenburg that I'd briefly looked into before being reassigned, the strange lights reported by locals, David's death 3 years ago. My cell phone rings, cutting through the silence. Marcus. My finger hovers over the answer button. If he's compromised, but what if he isn't? Marcus, I answer, voice tight. Jesus, Sarah, where are you? He sounds genuinely worried. Can't say, I don't know who to trust. What are you talking about? The office in Wickenburg was broken into. There's blood on the fire escape. Not mine, someone else's. Marcus, I need you to check something. Those environmental reports from last year, the well contamination story. The one that died? Why? Who killed it? Really? Was it editorial or did someone pressure the Tribune? Silence. Then, 2 men from the FBI came to talk to Ellen Markowitz, our editor-in-chief. Next day, you were reassigned. I assumed it was national security bullshit. What about Hexacorp, that whistleblower story from last summer? Same pattern. His voice drops. Sarah, what have you stumbled into? I'm not sure yet, but I think David was involved before he died. My voice cracks on my brother's name. Your Air Force brother? How? That's what I need to find out. I hesitate. Marcus, I have video evidence. If anything happens to me, there's a package in my apartment, under the loose floorboard in my bedroom closet. Combination to the lockbox is David's birthday. An insurance policy I just invented, but anyone listening won't know that. Sarah, I have to go. I hang up, then remove my phone battery. No more tracking. I restart the Bronco and continue toward Miller's Ridge, taking an unpaved maintenance road the last few miles. The truck bounces over ruts, each jolt sending pain through my ankle. The ridge rises above me, silhouetted against the night sky. I park behind an outcropping of rocks and continue on foot, favoring my good leg. The desert is alive with sounds, skittering creatures, wind through cacti, distant coyotes. At the ridge's base, I scan the darkness. Nothing, no one. The rendezvous point, but no contact. A flicker of light catches my eye. 3 quick flashes from higher up the ridge, a signal. I begin climbing, loose rocks sliding under my feet. My injured ankle threatens to give way with each step. The beam of my flashlight catches the opening of a small cave 20 feet up. Another flash comes from inside. Hello? I call softly, approaching the entrance. Turn off your light, comes a woman's voice from inside, and show me your hands. I comply, moving into the cave's darkness with my hands raised. A faint red glow illuminates the space. A small lantern casting just enough light to see. A woman sits against the far wall. Late 40s, military posture, eyes that have seen too much. She holds a pistol pointed at my chest.
The tapes, she demands. Information first, I counter. What did David find? What's happening in the desert? She studies me, then lowers the gun slightly. Your brother discovered that Hexacorp was using military satellites to track something that entered Earth's atmosphere in March of last year. Something. What? Like a meteor? That's what they wanted everyone to believe. But meteors don't change trajectory mid-fall. Meteors don't emit radiation patterns that match exactly the radiation signatures from the Roswell incident in '47. My skepticism must show on my face. I'm not talking little green men, Ms. Whitaker. I'm talking technology. Advanced technology that doesn't belong to us, doesn't belong to the Soviets, doesn't belong to anyone on Earth. That's crazy? That's what your brother said too, until he saw the data, saw the recovery operation, saw what they pulled out of the sand. A cold feeling spreads through me. And what exactly did they pull out? A fragment, a piece of something larger, something that emits radiation unlike anything in our classified databases, something that affects electronic equipment in a 10-mile radius, and something that, according to the lab reports your brother smuggled out, contains an alloy that doesn't exist on the periodic table. My reporter's instinct battles with my rational mind. This sounds like science fiction, not news. You don't have to believe me, she continues. But Hexacorp believes it. The military believes it. And they've killed 8 people to keep it quiet while they figure out how to weaponize it. Why are you telling me this? Why the elaborate setup with the tapes? Because your brother trusted you, and because Hexacorp has infiltrated the government teams. We needed someone outside the system who could get this story out safely. She gestures to the tapes. That's not just evidence of the recovery operation. It's evidence of Hexacorp's unauthorized human testing. They've been exposing people in Wickenburg to radiation from the fragment, documenting the effects. The well contamination, the radiation levels. The third tape, I say? The one with my name? Her face changes, fear flashing across it. You still have it? I told you to leave it. I threw it at the agents, but I have the other too. She stands suddenly. We need to move, now. If they have the third tape, they have the tracking strip, but they also have... An explosion rocks the cave, sending dust and rock fragments showering down. The woman grabs my arm, pulling me toward a narrow passage at the back. That wasn't just a tracker on that tape, she shouts over the ringing in my ears. It was a targeting beacon. We squeeze through the passage, emerging on the ridge's far side. Below, lights sweep the desert floor. Vehicles moving in formation, just like in the video. They're bringing it here, she says, face pale in the moonlight. The fragment, the whole containment unit. Why? Because your brother embedded microfilm in that third tape. Launch codes, access protocols, everything needed to activate the fragment's transmission capabilities. Transmission to where? Her eyes meet mine. To whatever sent it. Another explosion, closer this time. The ground shudders beneath our feet. There's a jeep at the bottom, she says, pointing to a barely visible trail. The coordinates for the safe house are programmed in the GPS. Everything your brother documented is there. You're not coming? She checks her pistol. Someone has to slow them down. I don't even know your name, I say as she turns to go back. Catherine. My heart stops. What? David was my husband, Sarah, which makes me your sister-in-law. She manages a grim smile. Family reunion will have to wait. Go, get to the safe house, finish what David started. Before I can process this bombshell, the night explodes with gunfire. Catherine shoves me down the trail as bullets ping off rocks around us. I half run, half fall down the ridge, my injured ankle forgotten in the rush of adrenaline. Catherine's voice rises above the chaos, shouting to be heard. The story isn't just the fragment, Sarah. It's what they learned from it. Hexacorp has been. Her words cut off in a burst of gunfire. I reach the Jeep, fumbling with the keys left in the ignition. As the engine roars to life, I look back up the ridge. Silhouettes of armed men converge on the cave. No sign of Catherine. The Jeep's GPS screen glows with coordinates. A location 120 miles north. The safe house. David's research. The truth. As I accelerate into the desert night, the sky behind me lights up with a blinding flash. Then another. Not gunfire. Something else. In my rearview mirror, a column of eerie blue light shoots skyward from somewhere near the ridge. A transmission. And I realize with cold certainty that the story I've stumbled into isn't just about government conspiracies or corporate crimes. It's about something much older, something buried in the desert, something that was never meant to be found. And now, it's awake.
The Jeep's headlights carve through absolute darkness. My hands grip the wheel so tight my knuckles ache. The GPS displays 94 miles to destination. Catherine's last words echo in my skull. The story isn't just a fragment. Behind me, that column of blue light has faded, leaving only the normal darkness of the desert night. But normal feels like a word that no longer applies to my life. My ankle throbs. Blood has seeped through my jeans from the fall off the fire escape. I force myself to focus on the road, on staying alive long enough to reach the safe house. The coordinates lead me north through increasingly remote terrain. No other vehicles, no signs of pursuit. Just endless darkness and the occasional cluster of distant lights from some isolated ranch. At mile marker 47, the GPS directs me onto an unmarked dirt road. I kill the headlights and proceed by moonlight, navigating by instinct and the faint glow of the dashboard. 3 miles in, a structure emerges from the darkness. Not a house, a storage facility. Chain-link fence, rows of units, all apparently abandoned. The GPS points to Unit 23B. I park behind the main building, hidden from the road. My hand finds the pepper spray in my pocket as I approach on foot. Every shadow could hide an ambush. Every sound could be footsteps. The padlock on Unit 23B is new. I find the key where Catherine said it would be, taped under the door frame. The lock clicks open. Inside, I fumble for a light switch. A single bulb illuminates a space that looks like a conspiracy theorist's fever dream. Maps cover the walls, photographs, documents. A desk with a computer setup that looks more sophisticated than anything the Tribune owns. And, sitting on the desk, a portable VCR with a TV screen. My breath catches. David's handwriting on a note taped to the screen. Sarah, if you're reading this, I'm probably dead. Play the tape in the machine. Trust no one, except Catherine. I'm sorry. I love you. D. The tape is already loaded. I press play with trembling fingers. Static. Then David's face fills the screen. He looks exhausted, haunted. The timestamp reads 7 months ago. Sarah, he begins, voice tight. By now, you've probably seen some crazy shit. Heard theories about aliens and recovered technology. I need you to understand something. It's all real. And it's all a lie. I sink into the desk chair, unable to look away. In March of last year, something did enter our atmosphere over Arizona. Military satellites tracked it. It wasn't a meteor. It was a probe. Automatic, unmanned, sent from somewhere beyond our solar system. It failed on entry, broke apart, and the largest fragment landed in the desert near Wickenburg. He pauses, running his hand through his hair. A gesture I recognize, the one he always made when stressed. Hexacorp was contracted to recover and study it. What they found was technology centuries beyond our capabilities. But here's the thing, Sarah. The fragment wasn't just technology. It was a test, a message, proof that we're not alone. My skin prickles with cold that has nothing to do with the desert night. But Hexacorp didn't report this to oversight committees. They saw an opportunity. They realized they could reverse engineer the radiation signature, the propulsion theory, the materials. They could create weapons that would make nuclear bombs look like firecrackers. And they could do it all in secret, claiming national security. He leans closer to the camera. I discovered they were testing the radiation effects on civilians in Wickenburg, contaminating the water supply, documenting how the alien radiation affected human biology. 8 people died in those tests, Sarah. 8 that I know of. Ruled natural causes. Covered up. The 8 photographers. The obituaries. Ray's warning. I tried to go through channels, tried to report it up the chain of command. That's when I realized how deep the corruption goes. Hexacorp has people everywhere. Pentagon, CIA, FBI. They've been planning this for years, waiting for an opportunity like this. David's expression changes. Fear. Real fear. I embedded evidence in multiple locations. Copies of lab reports, financial records showing illegal weapons development, proof of the civilian testing, the microfilm in that 3rd tape, launch codes that would give Hexacorp access to military satellite networks. They need those codes to complete their weapon system. My stomach drops. The 3rd tape. The one I threw at the agent. Catherine and I planned to go public. We had a journalist contact at the Washington Post ready to run the story, but they found out. The car accident? That wasn't an accident, Sarah. They staged it, made it look like I died in a training exercise. His voice cracks. I survived. Barely. Catherine got me out, faked my death completely. We've been in hiding, gathering more evidence, trying to find someone we could trust to break the story. Someone outside the system. Someone with no ties to military or defense contractors. He looks directly into the camera, directly at me. Someone like my brilliant, stubborn, pain-in-the-ass sister who never gives up on a story. Tears blur my vision. The tapes were bait, yeah, but bait we controlled. We needed you to find them, needed you to start asking questions, needed you to lead them away from the real evidence while we prepared the final move. He glances off camera, then back. If you're watching this, then Catherine and I have executed our plan. That transmission you saw, that wasn't them trying to contact whatever sent the probe. That was us, Sarah. We rigged the fragment to send out a burst on all frequencies. Every agency, every media outlet, every government on Earth just received the same data packet. Proof of the probe, proof of Hexacorp's crimes, proof of everything. My mind reels. The blue light? The transmission? Not Hexacorp activating something. David and Catherine activating their insurance policy. The fragment itself will be destroyed in that transmission. It's designed to burn out, erase itself. No weapon for Hexacorp. No technology to reverse engineer. Just ashes and the truth spreading across every network on the planet. He smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Here's the thing about proof, Sarah. Once it's out, it can't be contained. We've sent it everywhere simultaneously. They can't kill all the journalists, can't silence every government, can't put the genie back in the bottle. The tape flickers. Your job now is to survive long enough to add context. You're the human face of this story, the reporter who uncovered it. By morning, this will be the biggest news story in human history, and you'll be at the center of it. Another pause. I'm sorry we had to use you. Sorry we put you in danger. But I know you, Sarah. You would have done this anyway. You would have dug until you found the truth, even if we tried to keep you out of it. He's right. I would have. There's a satellite phone in the desk drawer. In 6 hours, it will ring. Answer it. It'll be someone from the Post. Tell them everything. Show them this tape. They'll have verification of the data burst by then. Corroboration from multiple sources. David leans back. I love you, sis. Always have, always will. Whether I'm alive or dead by the time you see this, I'm proud of the reporter you've become. Proud of the person you are. Trust yourself. Trust the story. Don't let them bury this. The screen goes black. I sit in the silence of the storage unit, tears streaming down my face. My brother, alive, or was alive 7 months ago. The car accident, the training exercise, all faked. He and Catherine orchestrated everything. The scattered pieces suddenly snapped together. The abandoned truck with the recording camera, positioned where I'd find it. The tapes arranged to tell a specific story. Catherine's mysterious phone calls. All designed to lead me here, to this moment, while they executed their plan. I'm not the investigator. I'm the witness. The final piece in David and Catherine's strategy to expose Hexacorp. Movement outside jolts me from my thoughts. Headlights sweeping across the fence. Multiple vehicles. I grab David's note and the tape from the machine. The desk drawer reveals the satellite phone plus a thick envelope marked Evidence, Copies. I shove everything into my bag. A door slams outside. Voices. I scan the unit for another exit. Nothing. I'm trapped. Then I notice the vent in the ceiling, large enough for me to fit through. The desk is solid enough to support my weight despite my injured ankle. I climb up, remove the vent cover, and pull myself into the narrow crawl space. My ankle screams in protest. I replace the cover just as the unit door crashes open below. Through the vent slats, I watch 3 men enter. Military bearing, tactical gear. The one in front surveys the room with code efficiency. "She's been here," he says. "Computer's warm. VCR recently used." "Spread out," orders another. "Check the other units. She can't have gone far." They leave. I wait, barely breathing, as footsteps and voices echo through the facility. 10 minutes, 20, an eternity. Finally, the vehicles depart. I wait another hour before dropping back down into the unit. The satellite phone shows 4:47 a.m., less than 2 hours until that call from the post. I limp back to the Jeep. My body is a map of pain, bruised ribs, twisted ankle, cuts and scrapes. But I'm alive. I drive east, away from the storage facility, toward the rising sun. No destination in mind, just moving, surviving. At 6:30 a.m., I pull into a truck stop outside of Flagstaff. I buy coffee and a newspaper from the vending machine. The front page is still yesterday's news. Local politics, sports scores, the ordinary world. For now. I find a booth in the back of the diner and wait. The satellite phone sits on the table between me and my cooling coffee. Around me, truckers and early commuters go about their normal routines, unaware that the world is about to change. At 7:03 a.m., the phone rings. "Sarah Whitaker?" A woman's voice, professional, urgent. "Yes." "Catherine Chen, Washington Post. We received a data transmission approximately 3 hours ago, along with evidence packets sent to 47 news organizations worldwide. Your name was attached as the primary source. Can you confirm you have corroborating evidence?" I glance at the envelope in my bag. "Yes." "We need you to come to Washington immediately. We're running the story in tomorrow's edition, but we need your testimony, your perspective, the human element." "What about Hexacorp? The people involved?" "FBI raids began an hour ago, multiple arrests. The Justice Department is moving fast. This is unprecedented, Miss Whitaker. First contact with extraterrestrial technology, corporate conspiracy, human experimentation. This is Watergate times 1,000. First contact. The words hang in the air. We're not alone. Never were. Miss Whitaker, are you still there? I'm here. I'll come to Washington, but first I need to know. Was there anyone else with Catherine last night, at Miller's Ridge? A pause. We have unconfirmed reports of 2 individuals extracted from that location by military airlift around 2 a.m. No names released, but our sources suggest they're in protective custody. David, Catherine, alive. Relief floods through me so powerfully I almost drop the phone. Thank you, I manage. We'll have a security team meet you at Reagan National. When can you be here? I look out the diner window. The sun is rising, painting the Arizona sky in shades of gold and pink. The same desert that has hidden so many secrets. The same sky that brought us proof we're not alone. I'll be there, I say. I have a story to tell. I hang up and sit for a moment, watching the ordinary world continue around me. These people don't know yet, don't know that humanity just took its first confirmed step into a larger universe. Don't know about the heroes who died for this truth. Don't know about the villains who tried to bury it. But they will. By tomorrow, everyone will know. I pay for my coffee and walk back to the Jeep. My reflection in the window shows a different person than the one who left Phoenix yesterday. Bloodied, exhausted, changed. The reporter who chased a story about strange lights in the desert. The sister who discovered her brother's final gift. The witness who will make sure the truth stays buried no longer. I start the engine and point the Jeep east, toward Washington, toward whatever comes next. The morning sun fills my windshield with light. And despite everything, despite the pain and fear and loss, I smile. Because sometimes the story finds you. Sometimes the story changes everything. And sometimes the story is just beginning.